Plebby16.
Good morning, plebheads. I'm Neo.
And I'm Mr. fucking YouTube, baby.
This is your morning porn. Tonight's episode, The Last of Us Part 2, all digital? Alright, Mr. YouTube, I want to have a little off-the-cuff conversation with you today. You and I have discussed this a few times, just kind of off camera. What are your thoughts about The Last of Us Part 2 having an all-digital release?
Is it a confirmed thing?
No.
Oh, it's just they're throwing it around to see people's taste on it.
No, like it's been like a rumor.
Rumor.
It's been like kind of like a boomer, but a rumor.
Alright, so it's a boomer rumor.
Yeah, it's a boomer rumor.
So, are we debating it or what? Because I'm going to go with... See, here's what I do, right? I'm a businessman. So I got to look at the current situation.
Why don't we just discuss it from that point of view, then?
Yeah, so I got to look at the current situation here. And we got this pandemic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's...
You can still say that, by the way.
It's not helping, right? I thought we'd be out of it by now. I thought we'd be done with it at March. We're going through April, probably going to go through May. And we don't know when this is going to let up. We don't know. We have uncertainty. We have a cloudy future, right?
Yes.
So as a businessman, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, I can't get clarity on when I'm releasing my product. And you know, if I'm in the entertainment industry.
And
right?
to be fair, it's a product that you've invested hundreds
of
and
man hours, thousands of man hours
of dollars and more,
millions of dollars
into.
And we had our showcase for some of it and kind of built up some hype.
Yep.
And now you got E3 canceled, and you got Comic-Con canceled. You got all these things that are canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So where are we outside of just dropping the trailers on YouTube and maybe promoting them through our Twitters and our Facebooks, whatever?
Yeah. Leaking some screenshots.
You know, we don't have a lot of that big, hot, exclusive press event to really drum up that initial launch hype that you want for a big title. This is a big title. This is a AAA release. Yeah. This is a tentpole release for Sony, Naughty Dog for PS4, right? I mean, this is a big money player.
I agree.
Right? So, if I'm in Naughty Dog's shoes, I probably go all digital here. I'm just thinking about it business-wise. What's at risk? What's at stake? You have all this shit going on. You have people in the house. You have video games at a high level of demand, right now.
You have a totally
captive audience.
Yep.
You got, by June or whenever they're going to release it, you got a lot of other stuff off the board. You got all the movie slates, all the big movie releases being pushed away. You got everything else out of the way. Or was this May that this was going to... I can't remember exactly when it was supposed to release.
End of May.
End of May. So that's right before summer, right? And everybody's sitting around. You'll be the only player in town.
For at least a month. Till Ghost of Tsushima.
So I look at that and I say, okay, I'm not going to be able to have my disc sales, my physical sales.
Yep.
I'm not going to be able to sell my collector's editions or my
LE editions
or whatever else. Yep. But I don't know exactly the breakdown, but my venture is the 80-20 rule would hold, right? That's kind of a general rule. 80% of your sales are going to be standard.
Yeah.
Then the other 20% are going to be mixed between your collector's editions, your LE editions, your special editions, and all this other stuff, right? But let's say 80% would be in that standard edition, $60. Now, sure, you might have maybe that $60 edition and then the extra $10 for the digital deluxe edition or whatever they're doing.
Right.
So I forgo all of that revenue. I put this on the back burner for what? How long till we can do a global release, right? Yeah. Would it be 6 months? Would it be a year? You know, because we do not have, and it's not clearing up right now. We've gone another month, and I mean, there is no more clarity to when all this shit's going to end than there was at the start of the month.
Yep.
Or I can say, okay, we're holding our release date, end of May. We're going to release it digital. the great thing about the world we live in today is we have the ability to release this game digitally to just about everyone. Because maybe not everyone, but just about everyone.
Because the game is, as they've said, basically finished outside of clearing up a few bugs and, doing last rounds of testing and stuff. So, I think about that too, and I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, well, how would I argue with that? And I'm like, well, I don't know if I really would argue with that, because I think when it comes down to it, you have to, you shouldn't necessarily go into each day thinking this situation is going to continue for another 6 months to 8 months, but you should be open to the possibility of it.
Well, you see the way that they pushed all the movies out of summer.
Yeah.
And have pushed those movies to next year, basically. And basically, if you're a major movie, you're getting pushed 2021.
Yep.
Okay, or the very end of 2020. That's what it looks like.
Yep.
So, movie theaters, they're not opening. Okay? Your entertainment industry outside of streaming is pretty well done.
For now, yep.
For right now. So, the opportunity to put out a game, a big money game, with high interest,
is there.
Look
at the Final Fantasy VII Remake. People are clamoring to get their hands on it. There's people trying...
3.4 million in 3 days.
Yeah, and there's people charging, $150 for a used copy of the game on Amazon.
Yeah.
Think about that.
3.4 million copies in 3 days.
And they're getting
That's what I read.
Yeah.
So,
me too.
Again,
I saw that too, yeah.
The demand is there.
Yeah.
And it's a story-based game. So, I think, we were probably on the purchase of the standard edition.
We're buying the standard edition, yeah.
So, we were going to grab it. So, we'd probably buy it disc if we had the choice, because I do like to buy my games physically if I have the choice. Yeah. But if it's get it digitally at 60 or don't get it at all, I think I pick it up digitally. Yeah. I'm not going to have a problem with it, because as a consumer, I'm understanding the environment and I'm understanding what's going on. And as a gamer, I'm saying, okay, I got to look at this. I got to look at the company. I got to look at the investment they have. I have to look at everything that's going on that way.
Yep.
And then as a player, I got to say, well, I might not do it under normal circumstances, right? Or I might not be happy if this was every game release, but today, in the current state of things, I'll make this exception. Yeah. I'll be okay with it, because I want to have this game to play.
Yeah, so my thought is, would you rather have the game to play at the end of May, or would you rather not play it at all?
Or would you rather have it crammed in November
with Cyberpunk,
where you've got maybe Cyberpunk and you have the PS5, if that's going to still release, and you have all this other stuff that's going on. And so then, again, you get a built-up, a big backlog schedule, which I hate. So, as a gamer, from a business perspective, I get it. I think it's a good... I actually would probably highly consider it. If I'm in Naughty Dog's position, I say, you know what? We have the ability to release this digitally to just about every one of our players.
Cancel the collector's editions, cancel that other stuff.
You could always release all that collectible stuff at a later date and say, hey,
we're sorry.
Buy it with the game, buy it without the game, whatever.
Yeah.
You could have a couple different options that way, and you could still release that stuff for people that want it.
Yeah.
But this way, you still get the game out there. You allow people to enjoy it during a time when that sort of entertainment is at an absolute premium, first off, from people wanting to have something to do.
Yeah, gaming has... I don't think gaming's ever been in higher demand than it is right now.
So you got something that people can enjoy while they're sitting at home.
Yeah, for sure.
You'd probably have a lot of conversation going around it. Obviously, they're pushing some different themes and some different things that are controversial, whatever. So you'd get your conversations going around it, and it would probably be the talk of the gaming world for a while. So, I don't know. I think from a business perspective, I'm on board with it.
Yeah.
And from a gamer perspective, I don't want to see it become the norm, because I do like the opportunity to buy the physical disc.
100%.
I like, for our situation, right, we both have PS4s, so if you buy the physical disc, you can each play it on your own system with one copy, which is kind of nice. So, you want to be careful, right? You don't get into that situation where it's like every system, every game, got to buy it for every player and every account, and that's mandated. You kind of get into some trouble that way, and that is a slippery slope. So you want to watch that. But again, in the situation we're in, you kind of, again, with how little clarity we have on everything, I think it is a fair decision. And as a player, you got to understand that, and you got to respect to the situation that Naughty Dog's in and that these developers are in with that sort of time and money commitment to the project.
Yeah, and I think that's a really big thing too. Is what if it doesn't? What if they don't launch it? So what if they push it back and it comes time for fall and we think we found a good time to do it. Things have kind of let up a little bit, or it's it's not as bad as it was. We're going to try to do this, and then maybe that's a total disaster and they can't get things together and they have a poor launch, they have a piss poor launch. I would say having an 80-20, like you said, hit 80%, lose 20% is better than losing 50% or 60%.
Yeah, and I mean the game is big enough and has a big enough fan base that I think the launch will be fine, no matter when they do it.
Yeah, true.
It's just, depending on how serious they're considering this, I mean, I just think when you look at it, again, I rarely mind if games are delayed. I really don't. I always want the best experience possible. But if the game is ready to go, and obviously I don't want to speak for everyone. I think a lot of people are in a situation where they have access to the higher speed internets. You have a lot more time in front of your PS4 right now. So it just probably from both perspectives would make sense to do an all digital launch at this time. The only thing is, of course, retail partners and different things like that are all considerations that have to take place, I'm sure, on the business side of things that are probably outside of my ability to interpret that.
Of course.
But it's hard to say. It really is.
Let them sell some digital codes.
Maybe they sell digital codes in Walmarts and Amazons.
Let them do it. They have the technology for it. There's no reason they can't do it.
So I don't know. It is a slippery slope. I wouldn't want to see the video game industry go completely digital. I would not want to see that.
I agree with you.
And it's kind of like the movie thing, right? You have the movies, and you see them releasing some of the movies to home video consumption without going to theaters.
Yeah.
And again, you worry long term, that cuts the theaters out. Those jobs are gone. Theaters don't exist anymore. You lose that part of, going to the movies is a fun thing to do, right? Now, do I go to see every movie? No, of course not. But it's still a fun thing to do, and it's an option I like to have. If it becomes something where you can either rent it at home, let's say for $20, and invite 10 people over and watch it, or you got to go pay $10 a ticket to go to it, most people, I think, might get it at home. So you cut that theater experience out, and people grow up without it. Hard to say.
Well, let me
It's a slippery slope. It is.
Let me ask you a question then, and I don't want to get onto this because I did want to keep this video mainly to Last of Us Part 2. But I do want to ask you, Last of Us Part 2, end of May, delayed indefinitely. What do you think that means for Ghost of Tsushima, which is a month later? Do you think we might see either, I don't know if they'll be considering that at that point, but do you think, maybe that game could be in some jeopardy?
I don't know what to expect, and I'm being really honest with you. This whole entire thing has gone on way beyond what I think. When you heard about it and you were like, okay, this sucks, you can suck it up for a week or two, right? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people expected to suck this up for a week or two, and now you're kind of getting into a month, 6 weeks. A lot of states are going 10 weeks or 12 weeks on this, right?
Yeah.
You've got schools. No more schools, right? For a while, you got your movie theaters shut down. You got your non-essential businesses shut down.
Okay.
On and on and on and on. And you don't have a lot of clarity on when this is going to get back to reality, like normal, whatever normal is going to be. You just don't have the clarity. So I don't know what the solution is, but from a business perspective, I can see where they'd want to release their game and get it to people while they're a captive audience, right?
Yeah, I think that the captive audience, concept continues. I think you will see temporary digital releases with maybe physical releases and collector's edition, special edition releases when the time allows for it.
Yeah, there are again those considerations with retail partners and stuff that are happening. Again, that happens beyond the scope of this video.
Yeah, of course.
But if it's something that can be done and you have the ability to deliver the product and you know most of your player base will be able to get their hands on it and enjoy it, I think you go for it. I'd love to know people's thoughts on this.
Yeah.
This is something I'm kind of interested in, obviously being a businessman ourselves.
Yeah.
We want to know what you guys think on this, because there might be some avenues here we're not considering, right? Like, what do you guys see as the pitfalls of releasing Last of Us Part 2 all digital? Or are you guys all for it? Do you guys mostly buy your games digitally? Do you prefer to have the physical copies like I do? I mean, what's the thoughts here? If it helps us get the game, if we could end up having the game end of May, would you guys be for it? Or do you see there being issues or long-term precedent set that could be detrimental to gamers in the long run? So I want to know your guys' thoughts on it. It's really important.
Yeah, plebs, hit us up in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Like the video if you enjoyed this discussion and kind of exploration of this pretty, I would say, kind of pressing topic, especially as things are the way they are right now.
I think it's a really important topic. Again, it's kind of one of those things. Can you make the exception with the current state of affairs and not have it necessarily become the rule? I think that's really important.
I agree.
A really important discussion to have. So I want to know people's thoughts on it.
And we'll see each and every one of you damn plebeians right here next time on the Balding Plebs for more real content like this.
You're welcome.
GG, you plebs.